Hey everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs, and I'm here with a quick video on showing you how to put beeswax on your cover. I had made a cover in a tutorial yesterday, and I was going to put it away, and I thought, well, I think I'm going to put some beeswax on it and finish up the cover and maybe, decorate it a little bit more. And I thought I'd just go ahead and turn this on and show people how I do it. I use this beeswax that I got off of Amazon, and it comes in a container like this. I don't remember how many are in here. I think I've only used maybe a couple, so let me see. Yeah, they come in little bricks like this. I don't know. There was probably 6 of them in there. And I've only used one, and I've done quite a few covers, so this will last you quite a long time. And I think you can get this at craft stores and whatever, but I'm kind of lazy. I just order it and have it come to my door. I'm going to take this cover that we worked on the other day. Usually, you should probably do this prior to doing your whole cover, but I usually do it at this stage. And it's pretty easy. That way it doesn't drip on your other pages, but I usually do it to where it doesn't get in there. So I like to have also a nice cloth. I get these at the dollar store. I really love these because they're very, very absorbent. And here, room, throw them in the washer. They get nasty. I throw them away. There's 2 in a pack. And so I will use that, there we go, to kind of put, I'm trying to get all the little thingies out of that, kind of put this underneath my surface because the wax will kind of drip. This is not a hard process, and it's not super messy. I mean, I think it's less messy than putting Mod Podge on it, and I actually like the finish. It gives it kind of an antique finish, and I know people wonder, well, does it melt later? And it doesn't. It's a very cool finish, and it makes it look more, I don't know, vintage to me. I usually keep some wipes close by because that's how I wipe the wax down, and I also keep just a piece of cardstock or something to work with. So first of all, I would probably take this, put it under my cover because I've already done it. I've already attached it. And I'm not saying this is the absolute right way to do it. I've watched different videos and they do it differently. And, I'm just saying that this is how I do it. So, that's just kind of, this is my thing. Okay. So I use my heat gun, and I don't even know. This is just a standard heat gun, nothing special. I don't think I paid very much for it, but I've had it forever, and obviously you can see it's been through a lot. But anyway, I just use my heat gun to heat up the wax. So, and the way I push the wax around is I just take a wipe, or a couple of wipes, have them ready to go, and I just move the wax with that. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to do it, and then I will do my flat cover like this, and if I have other paper elements that I'm going to put on the top of my, like I've kind of picked out what I want to put on this. I'm going to put these elements on. Well, obviously I couldn't, well, you might be able to. You would maybe be able to wax the whole thing. Well, you have fibers and stuff in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the paper elements off of here, and I am going to wax those. You're going to want to, like, see, I haven't inked up this doily. You want to ink up all of your pieces first and glue down, what, like I would put, like, I wouldn't wax that, but I could do all 3 of these. Okay, so I would do those pieces, put my fiber on, do my other paper pieces, and then do it that way. And basically what happens then is that you're sealing all of these little paper pieces. You're helping adhere them to your cover, it does the same things that you would do if you put Mod Podge, except it has a completely different finish. It's a different feel to it, and I don't know, I just really like the way it looks. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started with this and get my heat gun. I'm sorry, I can't think of any other way to do this to where you're not going to listen to the heat gun, but I'm going to let it get hot a little bit. And this process is, to me, very easy. I think I like it better than even the Mod Podge or other sealers, just because once you put that wax on there, it dries pretty quickly. So, okay, let's see if it's hot enough. Anyway, the way I do it is I just take my wax and I'm just going to hold the wax up to the heat gun. And I start from the top, and you can see it's dripping. Let me come down a little bit and make sure y'all can see that. It's starting to drip. And I already have some lace on here that I glued on, but that's okay. I don't mind if that gets waxed. So you can see why I have that other piece of paper there. So I'm going to get some wax, and I'm going to put it all on top and get that all heated up. And yes, some of it's already dried. But I'm going to take that, and as I'm doing that, I'm going to kind of keep this heated, and I'm going to start pushing it around a little bit. And you can see already there's a coating of wax that's already on there. Okay, so we're going to keep doing this. Here, I'm going to turn it this way since it's wanting to go downhill. Go with the flow. And this is really, I don't know how you can really mess this up. It's not a tough process. When I first heard about it, I was very intimidated by it. And I thought, what the heck, one time, and I bought some and I tried it and I thought, wow, this was really easy. So as you can see, I'm just taking my wax and I'm trying, what you're trying to do first off is get a coat on there. You're just trying to get a wax coat all over the top. Every once in a while, take your white and wipe it. You're trying to get it all coated in, and you'll be able to tell because it'll look saturated. And it's not wet, it's dry to the touch, but it just has a different finish to it. And it's not shiny, it's a dull kind of finish, but it's really cool. So anyway, we're going to go kind of halfway through because we didn't get any. And watch, you see how my wax was flying across there? That's why you have the cloth underneath. So I'm going to go all the way, get more wax. And you can tell by looking at it what has wax on it and what doesn't. And you will get more blobs in one place to another, but we're going to fix that. You'll see how we fix it in a second. See, I can see spots where I don't have any wax, so I want it to drip down there. And then I'm going to take this and kind of heat it up. And you know what you're doing with your heat gun when you go back over it after you've already melted the wax is you're kind of remelting it. Like, see, there's a blob right there. Oops, I just kind of melted my lace, so I'll have to fix that later. But anyway, what you're doing is you're remelting it. See, I didn't even think about that. So I'll fix that later and put another piece of lace over there. Normally you would do this without this piece on, but this is kind of an afterthought for me. I didn't think about doing it until I went to go finish this cover. And as you can see, it's kind of bending my cover, but that's not a big deal because we can fix that later. Now we've gotten wax over most of this already, but you can see there's a few spots that don't have any wax. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to put some more wax. All over, just wherever you think. The spots that you maybe have missed. And there's probably wax on there, but there's probably less wax. So at this point, all I'm trying to do is put some more wax all over so I have enough to work with so I can go ahead and finish this. And like I said, don't worry about that lace because I'm going to recover that anyway and you won't see it. But so tip is probably don't put your trim on before you do this. But like I said, this is kind of a last minute, oh, why don't I, seal it with some wax. Anyway, so now what you want to do is you want to go and heat up your wax again, and as you're heating it up, just take your little wipe and just kind of wipe it. And what you're doing now is you're spreading it to make it equal all across. And what you'll find when you do that, see, we went back over the places that didn't have any wax. There's one that's not there. You got a spot there. You'll be able to tell by the way it looks whether or not it's gotten any wax in there. We have a few spots that we could add some wax to. And then you go back over, and by heating your gun and moving it around, and move it around because otherwise you'll burn things. That's how I burnt that. But just move your heat gun around, and what you'll find when you're done is you'll have, see, that's done. What you'll find when you're done is you will have a very antique-y looking finish. Now see how this bent my cover a little bit? All you have to do later is to just heat it on the back side and it'll bend it back. It'll just take it and see, it's lying flat now. I'm just bending it on the back. It's going to come back the other way. Now, this may have loosened some of your glue or whatever, but you can go back in and fix that. And then again, then you'd go back and you do the other side. Here, we're going to do that. It's super, super easy. I mean, I personally think it's easier than doing Mod Podge. And I like the finish better. It's not glossy or shiny. You don't have to worry about it getting sticky. I mean, I've done Mod Podge on stuff and then I've had it, it just, when it's hot or humid or whatever, then it gets sticky. This doesn't do that. And you would think that the wax would do that, but it doesn't at all. So, now see, when you're first doing it, your main goal is just trying to get wax on the cover. You're not going to be able to get it even right off the bat. I will tell you this, when this bar starts getting lower, it's hard to hold, so you may want to have tweezers or something to hold it, because you don't want your fingers right under your heat gun. Let me turn this sideways. And see, I was just doing this part. It's not hot, and it's, but your wax has to be hot enough to melt. So I hold my heat gun pretty close to the wax. Keep moving it back and forth. And you can see I've got blobs everywhere, but I'm not concerned about that because I can always take my heat gun, see that, and heat it up, and then I'll spread it around. My main thing right now is on a new piece, what I'm trying to do is get wax on there so I have something to work with. So we're getting enough wax on there. This is our first coat. And we're going to take our heat gun and we're going to go ahead and heat spots. Now see, this is how I melted my fringe before, or my lace. That's a synthetic lace. So anyway, then this is where I use my wipe, and what I'm doing is I'm remelting the wax that's already on there, and I'm just kind of wiping it around. And I can see when I do that there's some spots that it does have some wax on it, but not as much. It's not absorbed all the way through. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to hit those spots a little bit. Get some more wax in there. all my spots that I missed. And I don't know if you can see this on camera, but you'll see that, you know, it's like if you were to wet your paper and some places didn't get wet and some did. That's what you're trying to do, is you're trying to make sure you have wax everywhere. And as you can see, I got a lot more wax on there. Just wipe it around, take your heat gun, and it's going to reheat it. Looks like I need a lot more right up here. Now you can take your wax and kind of go like this when it's hot, and that also helps put wax on there. And I do that. See, that kind of fills in those spots, because this right now your wax is it's very soft. I tend to do that kind of at the end. Okay, now you can tell that now I have it all saturated and it all has wax. And when I take my white, I'm moving this around because it's remelting it, and that's what kind of makes it go on there even. So now I have a nice even coat, and it's already dry. It's completely dry. You can work with this right now. It's completely dry. That's what's a cool thing about it. And the feel of this is not sticky at all. It's smooth. It gives it a very antique finish. Now, of course, I went ahead and inked up my papers when I did this beforehand. And, you know, that's what, you know, you want to make sure you do that. But you could still, if you wanted to, let's say you want to put a little more inking on there. It's not going to stick as hard, as easily, but you could still go back and do things to it. Anyway, let me show you what I do with the other part of this too. So, like I said, I'll fix that in a minute. I'll just put some more, I'm going to put some more lace over it. Normally you wouldn't have that on there and you would do the ends, but like I said, I decided to do this last minute, and I thought, well, I'll just pop on here and show you. Okay, so for my cover, I've got several pieces of that I want to put on there, and I want to wax those too because that kind of seals it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these pieces separately and then glue this on. Now I do want to kind of ink this up a little bit, so let me do that. Obviously it's going to take better. It'd be like just like Mod Podge. You wouldn't want to try and ink it up after the fact, although you can do it. It's just a little bit harder. I'm just using this brush so it's not too much. Just make it look a little old. I don't know if any of that other part's going to show, but I'll do that anyway. And then probably put a little bit on the ends. This is what I love this brush for, because it really is great for, if you were to use your little dauber and kind of try and do that, it's too easy for this to tear. And this is so small that you can, you know, get exactly what you want. Okay. Okay, I think this piece maybe just a little bit more in the middle, in the sides. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this is my bottom layer, then I'm going to put that layer on, and then I'm going to put that layer on. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to do this layer, I'm going to glue this next one on, and then I'm going to add wax to that, then I'm going to glue this next layer on, and I'm going to add wax to that. So this is how I'm doing it. Now you could put them all on there and just wax it, but I find when you do that, stuff gets stuck in it. You're still going to be kind of doing that later, but this process kind of works for me. And the other thing too is this, when your wax cover, it actually, rather than Mod Podge, how sometimes it's hard to get things to stick, it's easier to stick than it is, you know, with with just the Mod Podge. So I'm kind of doing the same thing that I did with the cover. And like I said, you can take your wax and go like this. I mean, the goal is really just to saturate your piece, make it look like it has, you know, the wax all. You'll be, like I said, it'll look like it'll look like you're getting your paper wet. See, like you can see, this is where I haven't done it. This is where I did do it. So you're trying to get it all to look like it is on top. Does not take long at all for this wax to heat up. And what's cool about this, the wax, the beeswax, is it has like a, not really a yellow, because it's very translucent, but it has kind of a taint color to it, a very, very light color. I don't know if you can see that. I'll show it to you here. It has a very light color to it. So what it'll do is it kind of antiques your paper. It's a really cool look. And like I said, it does not melt later. I've had it, and I mean, I actually think it holds up better than the putting Mod Podge or stuff on it, because it doesn't get sticky and stick to things. So anyway, so there's enough on this, and plus, if you can see, I'm taking my wax and I'm moving it around. Alright, and then I'm going to take my heat gun and just kind of reheat it up a little. See, I can see a corner there that I didn't get hardly any wax, so I'm going to go ahead and drip some on there. Alright, then I'm going to take my gun, heat it up, let it go in there. I'm going to take this, heat it all up, and I probably take this and just wipe it around. And that kind of takes off the excess, plus it kind of, what it does is it kind of makes it more of an even coat everywhere. So that is, and that's it. If you can see, I don't know if you can tell, and it changes the texture of your piece, and like I said, it gives it a very antique-y kind of look and feel to it. So then I would take my next piece, and this is the doily. Now, of course, on this you're going to have to be a little bit more careful. So I'm going to go ahead and wax that, and then I'm going to try, I'm not going to do it the same way. I'm just going to basically put spots all the way around it. And kind of move it around. And don't worry that it's blobs on there, because again, we're going to melt it and evenly distribute. Now see how my piece of wax is getting so small? I'm going to stop. I'm going to get another piece. And normally what you could do is you can take your pliers or something. Like I have these, where'd my tweezers go? You could take your tweezers like that and hold it to do it. And that would get you to that part. But I'm just going to take this and use it, a bigger piece again. Just to make it easier for filming here. So I'm just kind of letting it drip all over, trying to get it on there the same way, but you can't really rub something that's super delicate, so you're just kind of letting it drip. And you don't want to get your heat gun you know, too close to your whatever paper you're doing, because it can actually catch on fire or it can have burn spots. But I think, like I said before, I actually like it sometimes when it does that, because it looks kind of cool. But I'm not advocating doing that. I'm just saying it doesn't necessarily bother me. Okay, so I've pretty much gotten wax just about everywhere on this. Not in the middle. Not too worried about that. Okay, so now I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm just going to do this. I'm trying to get wax on the spots that did not get it, so I can kind of move it around. Go like that. Just kind of dab it. And what this will do is it'll actually make this doily a lot more durable than if you were just to, you know, glue it on there. Okay, so I've gotten wax all over that, and I'm going to put that aside, as you can see. So I'm going to put that aside and it'll dry very quickly. Then I'm going to take my next piece. Yeah, this is the side I'm using. And it's a very fragile piece of dictionary. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to do the same thing I did before, but on your more fragile pieces, you want to be careful about the rubbing and all that kind of thing, because it'd be pretty easy to break them. So we're just dripping it all over. And the thing you have to understand is underneath here, we still have this other wax. So that we're going to use that to our advantage. See, I'm going to put this all in here. And like I said, it's really not that hot. So it is when it first, you know, is dripping, but within seconds that the wax is cooled off. So it's not hard to work with. So we have a few spots I can see didn't get any wax, but for the most part, then I just take my heat gun, wiggle it around, just wiggle it around. You can pick it up, have it move around, just put it in the spot you already have. Alright, so you can see that it has wax all over that now, so we're going to put that aside. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cover and I'm going to put my pieces on, and I'm going to use my 3-in-1 because I want it to stick. And this is like no different really than when you're, like if you're putting something on that you've already decoupaged or whatever, because it's kind of a slippery surface and you want it to grab. So you want to make sure you use enough glue, and a good glue. And I do not remember how I was going to do this, but I think it was something like this. Okay. So that sticks on there just as if, you know, I don't know if I had another piece. Oh, you know what? I had another piece. I need a couple of other pieces I wanted to wax. Okay. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead and stick these on. Pretty sure that's how it's going to go. Okay. All right. So we're going to put these on, and then we'll go ahead and wax those other pieces. And this is how I put the beeswax on all of my elements on my cover. Because I know some people will put it on, you know, the basic cover, but I do it on all of my elements, and mainly because it kind of makes the finish look, you know, similar. And then and I know you can't feel it, but it's really a cool feel to it too. Anyway, I bought this beeswax on a whim. I was watching somebody do a junk journal, and you know, the thought of it to me sounded intimidating, but I saw him do it and I went, that doesn't look that hard. And I really like it. I put it on a lot of my covers, so it's just a cool finish. Alright, so we're putting this side on. Probably do. I don't know. Probably do that. Anyway, I hope everybody is having a good day. The sun is finally shining in my neck of the woods, and my dogs woke me up early, and it's a Saturday here, and I thought, well, I'm going to just come in my craft room and do a little crafting because the rest of the day is probably going to be pretty busy. So, anyway, that's kind of what I'm doing. And I saw this little cover. I was going to just stash it somewhere, and I thought I'm just going to finish doing that cover. I'm probably not going to do much else with this, and finish it, because I have so many little journals that I stick in a drawer that I haven't finished, and I need to finish them. So anyway, that way I'm going to make this into a little garden journal for me, just to kind of highlight, you know, what I do to my garden, which needs a lot of work. A lot of work. It was totally neglected last year, even the year before, so I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff. Okay, so we did that. That's all stuck down, and as you can see, it didn't take much more than, you know, you would normally do for a cover as far as sticking it. Okay, so these were my other two pieces that I was using. And so what I'm going to do, I actually had this on some pop dots, but I'm going to go ahead and wax this and then wax the other piece. I do need to antique that a little bit and do that. So anyway, I am hoping that I get a few things done around the house today. That way I can kind of get a head start on next week. Of course, tomorrow we'll be watching the Super Bowl at some friends, and that will pretty much be an all-day event. I mean, pre-game, after, you know, it'll be an all-day thing, so that'll take up most of the day tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'll have a video or not. I like to get some crafting every single day, because if I don't, I'm in a bad mood. I really am. I just feel like it's part of my routine now. I just retired from my job a couple of years ago, and one of the things, I wasn't getting to do my crafting, but maybe, gosh, once every 2 weeks, and that just made me a grouchy person. I just have to, I don't know, I just have to do it. So anyway, you want to get it all inked up the way you want it, and then, you know, get ready to put the wax on there. So we'll do that. Put my glue aside. Oh, I've got this little butterfly I'm going to put on there, so I got to kind of ink that up a little bit. Okay. All right. So anyway, we'll do that in a minute with the other one. So same process. And I'm putting it on the wax I already have in this spot, because that's going to help me. Have to apply less wax. So anyway, I'm going to finish this and then go downstairs, have another cup of coffee, and then get at it. If I had my way, I'd stay in my craft room all the time, which sometimes I do lock myself in here, but unfortunately, there's other things that I have to do in life that are not nearly as much fun. But anyway, Gonna get it done. Alright, so we put probably enough on there already. So I'm going to kind of make it drip down. Moving my gun around a little bit. And then see those big spots right there? I'm just going to kind of squish it all in there. And I've got enough, I think, all over that. Alright, so it's nice and even. I don't really care about the back, but it's going to get on the back. You're basically just saturating it in wax. I'm going to take my piece, my other delicate pieces, and I'm just going to kind of squish it in the wax that I already have on there because I've accumulated quite a bit from all these pieces. And you can see it already put wax all over there. Heat it up a little bit underneath. Okay, so I already have wax all over that piece. I could put a tiny bit more. Let me just do a tiny bit more on top. Get it more saturated. And make it nice and warm. Just move it all around. And you really can't put too much because you can wipe it off. You can just heat it up and wipe it off. Alright, so there we go. That's it. That's all I'm going to do on that one. Got a little piece on there. Then I have this tiny little butterfly. And I'm probably just going to hold that down. Heat up this wax right here that I already have. And you can see it's saturating it all the way through. Alright, let me see. I think that little guy needs a little bit more. Oh, I think I'm going to have to hold it down with my tweezers. Okay. And the thing is, this is a very delicate piece. But what this wax will do is it'll do kind of the same as the embossing would do. It's going to make that piece a lot stiffer. So, and anyway, so we had this extra wax, so I'm going to put that in there again. And I'll put that in there. And then I'm just going to come back and look and make sure all the wax is kind of even. And, you know, just hit it with the gun. And this is where you may want to take your wipe and wipe it down just to make sure your wax is on there evenly. Alright. And like I said, it dries in a matter of seconds. So you're not... now see, I don't know if you can tell. Here it's kind of on here blotchy now. So I'm going to take my heat gun. And I'm going to heat that up. And before it dries, I'm just going to take my little wipe and I'm going to go across it. And what that'll do is that'll spread it evenly across there. And like I said, you really can't mess it up because if it's not on there the way you want, then you reheat it. Okay? So now that I've done that, and I will save this piece here to use to wax again because there's wax on here and it will remelt and you can put your stuff in there, so you can keep this for a little while and use it to you know, do more wax if that's what you want to do. So now I've got all my pieces, so I'm gonna put those on. I don't remember how I was going to do this now. Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. And they will go on there just like, you know, they would if you had done some, you know, Mod Podge or a glaze or something else. But like I said, the way it looks when it's done, I think it's just a really cool finish. And it just feels different. And I don't know, to me it looks more authentically old. because this is how they used to seal the books and things before. I'm going to put this on and probably cut quite a bit after, but let me see how I want to do that. Yeah. So I think I'm taking this off the dots. That's what I was going to do. I put that on there like that, and I decided I don't really like that popped up like that because it's already got enough layers underneath it. So anyway, guys, this is how you do it, and don't be intimidated because it's super easy. And I don't think that wax costs very much, and you can see it last. I mean, it'll last you, I don't know how many covers. That's probably in the long run cheaper than using even Mod Podge on there. And I do think it seals it really well, and obviously you can't see it, but it's not a sticky finish at all. Okay, I'm gonna do that, I think. Yeah, I think that's what I decided I was going to do. Whenever I do these covers, I get it all laid out, and I think I have it perfect, and then I can't remember half the time what I did, so cut some of that off. It all needs a haircut. Okay, I might come back in here later and do it, but for now, that's the gist of it. And then I'm probably going to just put this little butterfly up here. And I may tweak this later, but this is the general idea. These are the pieces that I'm going to wax. If I put more pieces down that need to be later, I will. I'll do them. I may or may, it just depends on what it is. So anyway, got way too much glue there. Get away. And then get some of that glue off of there. Get that all stuck down good. So there we go, guys. That's our wax cover that we made. And like I said, the feel of it is really, it's just I don't know. I wish you could feel it, but it's a really cool feel. I don't know. And it does not get, doesn't get sticky or anything later, which you would think that. That's one reason why I didn't try it at first, but it does not. Like I said, less so than using Mod Podge. So then you have a nice sealed cover. It gives it a very antique-y look to it. I don't know. It's just I think it's well worth it. So anyway, hope you try it out. And if you've gotten something out of this video, please like and subscribe. And y'all have a great day.